Hi guys, this is week 40 Project Life, and there's no excuse again. four photos for this week. So I did the same thing. I blew up an enlargement, and then I went through some of my old stash. I opened a drawer and found a whole bunch of old citrus twist kits. So I pulled out the first one, and it's this, and I had to check through the website, and it's April. Now, this was one of my favorite kits ever, and for whatever reason, the lucky thing for you guys is this kit is still available in the Citrus Twist shop. So I will leave the link down below because it is a good one. I picked out a couple of cards here. This one I wasn't sure if it was the right size, but it is. I think it's a 3x8, but I'm going to trim it down to 3x4, and I'm using the 4x6 at the top there. I'm reasonably sure that when I used this kit the first time, I used that for a title card as well. It's such a pretty pattern, and I have no problem repeating that again. Just grabbed out a couple of other sort of plainer 3x4s. So what I've done this week is, because I had the enlargement at the top there, the two bottom 4x6 pockets, I'm going to split into two 3x4s each. I'm not going to actually fuse the pockets or anything. I'm just going to tape the cards together like I normally do to make one 4x6 out of two 3x4s. So that's my basic layout done, and I just need to trim this photo. So this is how I print these 6x8 enlargements. It's literally just two 4x6 photos. I print one from the top and one from the bottom. I do that in Photoshop. There is a video, I will try and link that up the top if I can find it, on how I print my Project Life photos. And then I just trim one of those down to 3x4 pockets. Now, I was going to start on my title card, but I got distracted by opening up the bag of die cuts here. And as you can see, I mean, so I've already done a whole month's worth of design team projects with this kit. And this is how many die cuts are still left. And there are some still really good ones in there. It's not like I picked out all the good ones and this is what's left. They're all really good. So I'm going through them again and picking out any I think might be appropriate to this week. I find that easier to do than going through all of them. And I just use a little dish to do that. So I'm splitting them between ones I know I won't use and ones I might use, although I'm definitely not going to use all of these. And you'll see I got distracted, so I don't end up doing my title card right now anyway. Instead, I'm going to play around with some of these die cuts on my actual layout. Now, this was that photo of me and Lil going for a walk. Was the first walk we went on after she was, well, starting to recover. She was starting to recover and she was going absolutely stir crazy being at home. So we went for a very quick little walk. She was trying to go so fast and I was trying to just slow her down the whole time. So the let's run away die cut there was definitely appropriate for her, not for me so much, but definitely that was her attitude. And I've still got a whole bunch of these leatherette stickers left, and one of them, movie night, was so appropriate because we had sat down one Saturday night, I think it was, and the Labyrinth was on, so we had a little movie marathon. And you can see me here, I'm trying to shuffle things because because I had tried this one red die cut on this photo and I didn't like the way it sat with the movie sticker. So instead of doing what I do eventually, which is just not put the die cut on, I decided to try and shuffle all the photos, but I didn't like the placement of them. So I've left it how it is and I'm going to work from there. I've added some typing, my journaling with my typewriter. I just put those cards straight through my typewriter this time. I didn't attach them to any scrap paper, so they're a little bit all over the place, but I don't mind that at all. It does look a bit odd to me only having two journaling cards with journaling on them. But I hadn't decided what I was going to do about that, especially because they're both down the bottom. It's not particularly balanced, so I do end up adding the third one up there, although at this point I hadn't planned on adding any more journaling at all. Stuck down that die cut and then just used a little bit of washi tape to join those two 3x4s together, and that gives me my 4x6 for this bottom pocket. And I'll do the same to these two cards here. I'm just adding that leatherette sticker, and I decided it looked a little bit sad on its own, so I added the wee teal arrows as well. I guess that just sort of points the journaling towards the photo that it belongs to. So that's those 2 cards done. And then I finally go back to my title card. Now in that die cut pack was this really pretty tag, so I decided I would use that, and before I stick that down I wanted to add some twine. I found some pink, which I thought would be nice, but when I put it down against the pattern paper it just doesn't stand out enough, so I went back into my stash and found some black and white twine, which I think adds that nice contrast and pulls together the fact that I've got like a couple of black and white photos in there. I had altered those black and white photos to be black and white because the colours in them weren't great. They were evening photos, it was pretty dark, and my camera doesn't take that great photos in the dark. So I fixed that as much as I can by changing it to black and white. Now there's a little label still left in this die cut pack, so I'm going to add my date stamps on there. And there were all these little tabs as well, so I was just picking out one that contrasted enough with that fairly busy pattern in the background, and it just happens to be a wood grain one. So there we go, that's the placement for my title card, and then I'm going to add my stamping. I just grabbed this sticker sheet and it actually worked really well as a mask for my date stamp. I do that because my date stamp is so inky and messy. I don't clean my date stamp at all, not every time, not ever. So it is a bit messy, so when I'm trying to mask stuff off like that, I do need to use a scrap paper, or I do find these sort of acetate pieces from the stickers really helpful. So I'm putting down week 40 with these, my like favorite little alphas. I changed out the 0 for an O because they're ombre effect, and I wanted to get that sort of mixed look. So the O was peach rather than the pink 40. And I really love those alphas, they are so pretty. So like I said, that kit is still available. I would buy it again just for the alphas, to be honest. So I've really only got these 3 little cards left, and I'm desperately trying to find something to embellish either the photo or the card with, because like I said, I hadn't decided that I was going to do some journaling on here yet. But this is when I decide to. So I grab the card and run that just through the typewriter, just a tiny little bit at the top. I mean, there's not much to journal about, it's just a cup of coffee. And then I'm going to back this die cut. So it's a heart with die cut U out of it. And I'm just going to use the bottom of the tag that I used down the bottom. So it pulls in that pink again. And it's a little bit tedious trying to glue this piece on, but it worked quite nicely. I just cut the strip, glued it on, and I'm just going to trim around the edge. Luckily it's not a complicated shape at all. And then glue that onto the bottom of my card. It still looks a tiny bit empty, but I'm going to fill it in with something else, and I found this little pink heart. And because I've got a couple of other hearts on there, I sort of like that theme, so I'm adding that on, and it brings the pink into there a bit more too. Now this stamp set was one of the add-ons for the month, and it is still available in the shop as well, so I will leave that there, the link down below for that one too, because this is such a great set, especially if you're food orientated like I am. It works really nicely. There was a few cork pieces in this kit, and I only had this one little one left, but it was perfect for this photo. I think it says something about, you know, stay at home today. Stay at home kind of day is what it says. And I stuck that on top of one of those die cuts. It fit perfectly, so that brings the pink up into my photo. And then I want to do some stamping around the edge of it. So I'm using these tiny little word stamps, and I'm sort of bending them on my block so that they go around the outside of the circle. It's a really easy technique to do. You can faff around with it if you want, but with these little ones, just giving them that tiny little bend makes them look like they're perfectly aligned around the outside of the circle. So I added a few around the bottom and one at the top, and just added a few little dots just with a gel pen in between. And then I end up with this sort of gap on the right hand side, which wasn't intentional, to be honest. And so now I'm looking for something to fill it with. None of the die cuts worked, but there was another one of these leatherette arrow stickers, and I have a go at bending that as well. Because it's triangles, it does bend really nicely and fills in that little gap almost like I meant it to be. And with that, this whole page is done. The because I've got so many kits coming in each month, I don't often go back and look through these old ones, but I'm so glad I did because this was one of my favorite kits this year. This is 6 months old now and I still love it. Like I said, it's still available, so I will leave the link for you down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!